Hey, it seems they want to pay me for this tour. It's more money than my last book advance. I'm supposed to give the other writer a call. I'm going to do that before dinner. Is that all right? Honey? Let's see.
No, uh, you know what? I have to take another call. So just shut up a minute. Yeah, I have to get to writing about some serious stuff, or you get to write about 80-year-old alligator wrestlers. Okay? So don't call me till tomorrow. I have to write about my column, man. Okay. All right. Hang in there. Bye. This is Bill Maxwell.
Hello, this is Beverly Coyle calling from New York.
Mm-hmm.
You may not recognize my name.
No, I know who you are.
Oh, good. So I am looking at this letter from the Florida Humanities Council asking us to give some talks around the states, do a kind of tour together. We're the last kids to grow up legally separated, Jim Crow kids. Well, I mean, I guess we must be fairly close in age. I don't know about you, but this means I'm now old enough to be in the last of something group. A last living something, a Delaney sister, the last Confederate widow tells all. Call me Ishmael. Oh, maybe you didn't get the letter yet.
I got it.
So how are you?
Fine.
I see by the letter that you grew up in Crescent City, Florida. I lived very near you a few different times growing up. My mother's people were just below you in Oviedo, near Sanford, the celery capital of the world, right? Back then, the Oviedo Bank had a bright green neon celery stalk on top. It looked just like a big old dollar sign. Is this a bad time to talk?
I have a few minutes.
Well, I can't get down to Florida until we do this tour in February, so I figured we'd better introduce ourselves.
The Florida Humanities Council asked you to call me?
Yes, they did, yes.
They told you I haven't agreed to this yet.
I guess I'm being interviewed. Not many Floridians admit there ever were Jim Crow laws down there, right?
Not many white Floridians.
Yeah. Do you mind? I'd like to run by you where I might start. I didn't realize until I looked it up that Jim Crow is actually a name taken from a minstrel show character.
Please tell me that's not where you're going to start, not with minstrel show characters.
Well, see, I was thinking.
Minstrel shows are one horror we didn't have to deal with.
Yes, we did. Well, at least I did.
Oh, TV movies, maybe. You never saw a white man in blackface? Come on. Where?
Fernandina Beach. I was in the 8th grade.
Go on.
Well, first of all, I was the new girl at school, so I was having to learn the ropes. And I was all ears when my new friends started talking about this show that we were all going to go see after the winter break. It came around every year for a Monday afternoon auditorium assembly at our junior high school.
What year was this?
Oh, well, sorry, it came from right in town. It was an annual event put on by the Rotary and the Lions Club. Each year they'd book the big municipal auditorium for a week, but for the junior high school kids, there was always a matinee at the school because parents wouldn't want to have kids, out on a school night, which was 1960.
Okay. 1960.
I got pretty excited about it because apparently the year before our own principal and two of our male teachers performed in a skit about a chicken coop.
Imagine the skits performed in the evening adults only shows.
Yes, imagine.
Go on, if you would, please.
Well, I just happened to announce it to my folks at dinner the night before, and they were new in town too, of course. And this was the first that they knew about the town's minstrel show tradition. My father was this mild-mannered minister and something of an intellectual, and here he was suddenly yelling at me, like really, really angry at me. Did I think that I was going to attend a minstrel show? How could I think for a minute I'd have permission to attend such a thing? So I heard my mother suggest softly to him that I might not know what a minstrel show was. When he calmed down a bit, he just stared at me and seemed to realize that explaining it to me was in and of itself going to be a shameful moment because, well, yeah, it was white men who should know better. Hell, it was white men who did know better, cavorting around in kinky wigs, white lips, blackened faces, and using dialects for their vulgar skits. Someone would take the part of a local banker and portray him as an embezzler, which is what white men felt they could claim if a black banker existed. He'd be a thief, of course. Our school principal would be portrayed as an illiterate show-off, and any of our town's ministers they decided to represent as black, well, he'd just be a no-count womanizer, a predator. I mean, no, I really wanted to see that, right? But on the day of the show, I just walked home early. All these years later, I remember that. I didn't need to see it. I knew that it happened. It was vividly in my head from then on. So, what do you think? Is it a pretty good place to start? Hello?
1960. Same year I turned 14, went with my grandfather to the courthouse to take the test for my learner's permit. When I was attacked by a deputy sheriff inside a DMV office. The lady behind the counter handed me a form to fill out.
Yes?
When she asked me if I had a pen, I said, no, I don't. The next thing I knew, this deputy's hand reached in, grabbed me, and turned me so hard I was body slammed against a wall. You say, yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am, to a white lady, you little nigger. I wasn't exactly small. I was a filled-out linebacker, a few inches taller than he was. I remember the smell of tobacco and the free hand easing down his gun. What do you think? Is that a pretty good place to start?
Please say yes to this tour. I know you don't know me from Adam, but...
You know what?
What?
I'll do this tour. I want to see what else you've got.
Hello?
Hey,
Hello?
you made it, but
Hi.
you're late.
Yes, hi, Bill. Sorry. That could be the Holland Tunnel traffic out there. What is that?
That's Florida. You don't get down here much?
My folks, but that's just about it.
Well, You probably only want to drink this stuff while you're down here.
Thank you. Where is everybody?
Mm. I expected a hostess or two, not even a sound check person. Someone left me this note.
Next time, use the back door. Wait, what?
Gotcha. Listen, I need to know something.
Okay.
Are you always late?
Don't we have an hour?
But the plan was that
I know. See, my plane was on time. I got to our car rental on time, but I'm driving off. And I remember that the council asked me to collect this at the rental desk. And what a mess, So I circle back in the car and then, no, I'm not always late.
So, are you ready for this?
Well,
I see.
this just looks really messy, but it's really, I'm quite ready. Yes.
Plus, I stutter.
That's stage fright. We're bound to be feeling it.
Okay, thanks. Thanks very much. Plus, I stutter, and plus, I have stage fright.
There's no one here. Let's just leave.
Brilliant.
Okay, well, look, one of us could just start the thing, introduce us for a bit. I mean, for example, you could go first for a moment or two about your beginnings or whatever, and just give me a look when you want me to go next, and then I'll take a brief turn at it and then hand it back to you.
Okay. How about you lead this first time and I'll follow?
Sure. I'll lead, you follow. Why did we say yes to this?
I have no idea. I was amazed when they sent out this final itinerary. Did you get it?
Oh, I have it memorized. Bartow, Ocoee, Kissimmee, Lake Wales, and Groveland.
The lynching belt.
The lynching belt?
6 little scary towns cutting right down the middle of Florida's infamous little lynching belt.
I've never heard of that.
In Groveland, God almighty, I was only 5 years old, but nobody's gotten over what went down in Groveland. 3 black men convicted of raping a white woman. They won a retrial. And then they were murdered around midnight the same day.
But they won the retrial?
Sheriff himself, actually. In the act of transporting them in handcuffs to another jail, he pulls off the highway, shot 2 of those boys dead before they were trying to escape. He got himself elected sheriff for the next 3 decades. In fact, he was interviewed on 60 Minutes not too long ago.
So we should be worried, right? Doing this program in these particular towns?
Well, I should be. I was in Groveland when it happened. I was visiting relatives.
5 years old, you said?
It's got to be one of my first clear memories. White men honking, yelling, tearing through the black part of town. My uncle put me under a mattress.
Jesus, Bill. Well, the Humanities Council has taken care, I think. These talks are all going to be in places like this. This one was put together by a white group and a black group working together. What do you think?
What kind of car did you get us?
Oh, Hertz. They said to just come in any office and they can add you as a driver. It's nice, it's red. Oh, what, we're too old for a red car?
Oh no, it's perfect. Driving the lynching belt in a red car with a white woman beside me. Ugh, you just hope it's quick and painless. How do you think they want us to set all this up? I see they've got holders for us.
Well, maybe there's something backstage to open this box with.
Wait. Got it right here. And Beverly always prepared.
Mother sent my pictures in for the council to blow up. I don't know what she decided on. She may have had a real struggle. Oh, my Sunday uniform. Mother would make this linen dress in a bigger size year after year. She'd get my grandmother to do this fancy work on the bodice.
This stuff?
Smocking. Outgrowing smocked dresses was a little like you moving from short pants to long ones.
What age?
21. Oh, how adorable.
Okay, now this looks more like you.
Oh, my freshman year in college.
You look earnest.
God knows I tried. Oh, and you with that pencil behind your ear. Oh, so you were an early geek. Me too.
Mhm.
I kind of liked it the other way. Children to young people.
No. You, me.
Yeah, but the other way gets it, I don't know. Little kids to college geeks. It's more parallel, more poignant.
More poignant?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll lead, you follow.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go easy, hometown and family to start.
Okay, good idea. I'll do the same. Oh, I brought you a copy of my latest novel. Would you like me to sign it for you?
Not necessary. Where was that geeky photo taken?
Florida State, Tallahassee. How about yours?
Bethune-Cookman College, Daytona Beach. I had just heard I was accepted into grad school. Chicago, actually.
The University of Chicago. Journalism.
English.
The University of Chicago's English department?
And through the black door.
No. Black, white, green, or purple. It's one of the best in the country. What did you study?
Restoration comedy.
No kidding. Restoration comedy. Wow.
Grim, absolute, no moral truth whatsoever. A pox on everybody, and everybody had the pox. What were you into? Feminist studies?
Wallace Stevens, dead white males, just like you.
Beauty is momentary in the mind, the fitful tracing of a portal, but in the flesh, it is immortal.
So, in your years as a professor, were you ever invited to teach restoration comedy?
What do you think I was invited to teach?
Harlem Renaissance to the present?
You got it. Harlem Renaissance to the present.
Professor profiling.
Professor profiling. Is it yours?
Mm-hmm.
Mind if I have it?
Yes.
You and I are both preacher's kids, you know that?
Yeah. We were supposed to be hellraisers, which I completely failed at. You too, I think.
I had my head in the book every chance I got.
Plus, I played the bassoon.
Get out. What was your dad? Baptist? Presbyterian?
Methodist. Your dad? Oh, wait, it was your grandfather who was the minister.
Yeah. The man oversaw 6 parishes in Northeast Florida besides his own.
Wow, a bishop. Where did he go to seminary?
Seminary? You mean uppity Negroes acting white?
Oh, no, I was just curious
Really?
where.
I've heard it before. White people having the only real ministers.
No, wait.
Oh, some of our preachers got caught up in seminary nonsense, but most of them did need to go to seminary to be called by God.
That's not what I meant.
Look, I know what you meant, Miss Beverly, and I think you're full of shit. Good afternoon. It's good to be here in Bartow. How's the sound? Can you hear me all right? It's good? Okay. All right. So, yes, I got here early and walked around town a bit. I wanted to see your new library. Congratulations on that. Allow me to introduce you to Beverly Coyle. She's a Florida native like me, but she's here from New York. She's a novelist. She's also a professor at Vassar College. Beverly?
Yes. Okay. Well, let me please introduce Bill Maxwell, although I know he's well known to most of you. He's been a college professor off and on for his whole career and is now one of the most read and respected opinion columnists of the St. Petersburg Times.
I was born October 16th, 1945.
Yes, and yes, I was born August 2nd, 1946.
I was born in an all-Negro hospital. That was the law. Negro babies could not be delivered in white hospitals.
Ours was all white, of course. In fact, it turns out that I was the first newborn at Miami Memorial to receive an experimental drug recently used on soldiers pulled out of Allied battlefields. The drug was called penicillin.
My mother and father met each other in Fort Lauderdale, where my mother had moved to get away from what she called a bunch of countrified niggers in her Lake County hometown.
My father's people were Alabama tenant farmers, and I suspect he too left home to get away from humble roots. At the time he met my mother, he was a seminary student.
And where was that seminary, if I may ask?
Candler Seminary.
Okay, that's at Emory University in Atlanta?
Yes, yes, it is.
When I was 18 months old, heavy rains devastated the local pole bean crop, and my parents had to go up the road to find work. On their way to Exmoor, Virginia, where they were working potatoes, they left me with my grandparents, Lily Mae and Robert Bentley, in the vast capital of the world, Crescent City, Florida.
We moved around Florida my whole growing up to a different church in the Florida Conference about every 4 years so that no one got tenure. When we left Miami, my dad's next church was in Boynton Beach, then Fernandina Beach, and then over to the Gulf Coast to Venice. And by that time, I was in high school, and I loved that the Ringling Brothers Circus had its winter training grounds there.
Crescent City was my home until I went off to college. One of my favorite haunts was beautiful Lake Stella. I swam there every chance I got, year-round, day and night. I assumed that nature must have drawn a line across the lake, separating the Negro side from the white side. My buddies and I swam and played on the Negro side, whites on the downtown side, and the game we called Gator was my favorite. It was basically tag, but we often came very close to drawing someone. I used to let myself get captured because I loved being Gator. I loved catching someone, pulling him under, and holding him down until he was about to take his last breath. Just for a moment, I was in control of something.
Hard to explain, but somehow I always knew how fast childhood was. I knew I'd be grown in the blink of an eye. Maybe it was the circus people, because in town you'd see them close up and you knew that each of them just had a short while before they'd be too old for the circus. This idea hit me hard, and I got a premonition of becoming a writer and catching time into words. In Woolworths, you might find me spying on the tattooed lady as she browsed over Hallmark greeting cards.
We were solid citizens in town, both in Colored Town and a bit beyond it, because in small towns, most people knew the preachers, black and white. My grandparents owned 3 acres of land in their own home. It was a green shingle 3 bedroom shotgun style building. If you stood in front and fired a shotgun, the shot would go through the back door without hitting anything. We had a matching green shingled roof, 2 whole outhouse across the dirt road.
Our parsonages were owned by Dad's congregations, and they were usually just down the block or right next door to the church. When your folks announced that you were moving again, you didn't dare hope for your own room in the new place. You hoped for a sleeping porch, for a good backyard, that Mama would find an automatic washing machine instead of a wringer. Each parsonage had its own parsonage committee. They decided on the decor, the colors of the walls, the choice of slip covers, the gauze curtains that caught the breeze when we were fortunate. We had no air conditioning. We had fans, floor fans, ceiling fans.
Window fans and
Yeah,
attic fans. We whirred and buzzed a whole lot of the time.
fans inside the church too, where we spent a lot of time, morning services, afternoon services, evening services, choir practice, and covered dish supper on Wednesdays.
Tent revivals. Everybody looking forward to a week of sermons by a traveling preacher. Some of them were a force, some of them came from all over the country. We provide a choir, but often they bring their own soloists, their own squeeze box organ, and maybe a fiddle player or someone on cornet. That was great.
And occasionally, a real missionary visited, sometimes a lone woman, lugging in a carousel of slides that we'd have to wait for because she'd have to give a talk before we got to see them. And one time, there was a woman who showed us slides of an exotic African village. Everyone in bright colors, smiling into the camera, and the green fronds choking up in the background to exhilarate me. And the woman herself in one or two of the slides, holding very black children or standing between two very dark complexioned women. Someday I was going to be a missionary to Africa. I saw it clearly. All of a sudden, at about the age of 8, I was going to get on a ship and travel weeks and weeks to get to people like that. I wanted to be just like that missionary because, in Africa, the natives would naturally be friendly to me, much more friendly than white people are here. And I wanted that. I wanted to be more welcoming, more like those pictures of American Indians welcoming the settlers. We would love each other simply and with no complications. And every 7 years, I'd have a sabbatical, and there would be ice cream social fundraisers at a church in Florida, and I'd show my slides.
Wade in the water, wade children wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Church meant more than religion. It was literacy, history, politics. My grandfather told me that wade in the water was what the slaves had sung in the fields. It was code to let people know if you were going to make a run for it. The solution was to wade in the water so the dogs couldn't pick up your trail. You were hearing the evening news, someone had made a run for it, and you sang out your hope for whoever it was. Someone was going to head for the Underground Railroad that would passage you north, which I, of course, believed was a train that actually ran on track through some kind of underground tunnel. My grandfather was quite a man. He was a presiding elder, a minister in a Pentecostal denomination with a very big name. It was called the House of God, Church of the Living God, pillar ground of truth without controversy. It was a real small church.
About me thinking that your grandfather wasn't a real minister. I'm very sorry if I
Never left the house without his hat. He could step in a Chuck's barbershop and everybody stopped cussing. And when white people think they know about men like him, I can hear one of them to this day. Preacher, are you in there? Preacher. Our white insurance salesman, our policy man, every week coming to my grandfather's house and whooping at him from the front door. Preacher, Robert, knock, knock. Where's the preacher? He'd come sauntering in before we could get to the door, nosing around our house at supper time. Then he'd be inside our house, towering over us. Don't get up. I can make myself at home. He'd put his grip on the floor, walk into our kitchen, and eat right out of our pots. Best collard greens in town, little May. Week after week. Nothing like your fried chicken, old girl. Preacher, you were one lucky boy. Uh-oh. You folks didn't eat up all the cornbread, did you? I'd sit there listening to him bang the lids and smack his lips until one day I'd had enough. When he started for the kitchen, I got up out of my chair and I stepped right in front of him. Mister, you do not have the right to eat out of my grandmother's pots. No Negro can eat out of your wife's pots. I was figuring he'd try to slap me to the floor. Instead, his eyes narrowed at me. He kept right on looking at me while he called on over to my grandmother. Lady May, you come outside with me right now. Come on. So out she goes with the man, but he made sure my granddaddy could hear him just outside the front door. A nigger boy talking to me like that? That's a boy you raised, Lady May. My grandfather's sitting there frozen, his fork suspended in the air. Now, you go on back there and you do something about him so none of us has to be truly sorry. You understand? You don't want anything bad happen to that boy, do you? By the way, folks, down here, know about the winter training ground for the Ringling Circus? It wasn't in Venice, it was in Sarasota, but then you are a fiction writer.
Wait a minute.
Close enough, right? Venice is so close to Sarasota, you just airbrushed it.
No, I didn't airbrush it. Sarasota had some kind of a labor dispute back then, so Ringling moved the winter training on down to Venice for a couple of years. They had a full-size practice tent. You could get in for free on certain training days, watch the trapeze artists with all the harnesses and pulleys, everyone working on their new routines.
I stand corrected. So, where was your dad's parsonage in Venice?
Right off Highway 41, just north of the bridge.
I used to go right through there all the time. Wait, just north of the bridge, that puts you in the Commerce. You didn't live in Venice, you lived in the Commerce.
Look, I just wanted people to have a reference for where I lived in that part of the state, that's all. People have heard of Venice. No one has a clue about Nokomis. Nokomis is like, she's Hiawatha's grandmother in Longfellow. On the shores of Gitche Gumee, by the shining big sea water. Yeah, okay, I airbrushed it.
You remember that Dairy Queen just past the bridge?
Yes, I knew the man who ran the place, Mr. Lakey. He sang tenor in our choir.
Oh, you mean the Dairy Queen. He was a cool dude. Let us come right up to the window.
That is amazing. Same place. We might have seen each other.
I didn't ever look when we were around.
Lord, I stared my head off when you were around.
At what?
I'd spy on you from inside of our car. I mean, you couldn't look. So I looked all I wanted. I think I was kind of obsessed. What were you wearing? What games were you playing? I wanted to see where you lived. I wanted to see which house that girl was headed to in her print dress and her chalky legs sometimes. And I wanted to hear what the women were saying to each other on the front porches, shelling peas, just like we did, or boys on bikes. And if I'd see a boy riding a beat up bike, that was clear to me because with hard work, he'd earn money for a new one. But if he was riding a new bike, did someone give that to him? Or did his folks spend good money when they should save to paint the peeling house? And meanwhile, why didn't someone prop up the corner of that front stoop? One night I was at the movies, a 13-year-old girl and so self-conscious. When I wasn't blushing, I was twitching with mortification. And this particular night, I couldn't hear to follow the story for all of the carrying on by the Black kids up in the balcony. We called it the buzzard roost. They were loud. They had no idea how much noise they were making. And well, they were unsupervised. So I craned myself in my seat just to stare down those kids for a second. Not that I thought that it would do any good. And I accidentally caught the eye of a boy looking right at me. I froze. He actually liked what he saw. He looked at me in this very serious and studied sort of way. Gave me a little nod and a sweet smile that said I was okay, you know? And I know that I smiled back at him. And then I saw him nudge his friend. And then both of them started laughing at me. And I turned back around so fast and I hated them, sitting up there, nigger heaven. Indeed, it's exactly where they belonged. How much of my stuff do you want me to dredge up, you know?
Look, that was honest, okay? There wasn't a person out there that didn't get it. How does a poem go? Tell the truth, but tell a slant.
Tell the truth, but tell it slant with explanation kind.
The truth must dazzle gradually, lest every man go blind. We could blind him.
Could we get a drink? I could really use a drink.
I thought you were a Methodist.
Reformed. I'll have a beefeater martini, please, straight up with a twist.
Glass of Merlot, please. And it's ashy, if you want the right word.
What? Ashy? What?
You said chalky legs. We say ashy. Girl, you got them old sorry ass long ashy legs. You better see about yourself. One day, I was pedaling along a highway, just finishing my paper route, and a car full of white boys pulled up alongside of me and threw this red balloon right in my face. That thing hit me so hard it leveled me. It burst all over my face, my chest. Then I could smell it. It was urine. I could taste it. I had just been knocked. A rite of passage that admitted white teenagers into the good old boys club. The object of the ritual to frighten Negroes or even injure them, but mostly make them angry. Make them lose control and make them start cussing real loud. It always worked. As the car sped away, I sat on the ground and wiped my face with my shirt tail. The smell of urine would not go away. Instead of finishing my route, I pedaled home slowly, and then took this shortcut through the woods where no one in my family would see me in the back, coming by the pump by the house. I drew a basin of water, undressed, and scrubbed my face with light soap until my cheeks got numb. Then I scrubbed my whole body with light soap. I've never told anybody about that. I wanted to kill those white boys. I wanted to see them lying in their own blood. I had never wanted to kill another person in my life, but after this attack, whenever I saw a white person on the street, I wanted to kill him. Yeah. You had a question?
I just wanted to say it was brave of you, you standing up to that white insurance salesman. He could have killed you, right?
Here's what happened. The guy decided to spare himself the trouble of ending my life, see? The whole town of Crescent City got its newspaper delivery from my grandparents. So he got everybody to just call up the newspaper and cancel their subscription. Over half of my grandparents' income was wiped out. White ladies stopped their regular orders of cakes my grandmother made for them and for their mothers before them. Lily Mae's famous pound cake. So that guy couldn't have put me in my place any better if he had broken my arms and legs. I would have preferred that punishment, in fact, and he knew it. Intimidation works the same way terrorism does. Okay. Harlem? I'm not going to Harlem. Well, you're going to get yourself killed if you stay down here. I'm not going to Harlem. Not right now. Right now, you're coming with me to the library. You're going to scrub some floors. So here I am in the white people's library. Somewhere I can hear my grandmother filling a bucket hot water, hitting galvanized tin. I'm wandering up and down the aisles, at the white people's library. I am not allowed to check out any of these books. I'm not allowed to touch them. A smell of old leather and parchment. Then, just as I come to the end of a row of books, it's the white lady who runs the place. I try to speak, but I see she started to find me back here.
What are you doing here, young man?
Hello, ma'am.
Are you Lily Mae's son?
Grandson.
Is that homework you've brought here?
No, it's
Dracula. So you like fiction, do you?
it's my favorite.
I'm Mrs. Harcourt, and you are?
Bill Maxwell.
And you wrote all this?
I want to be a writer.
Well, you write very well. You see a lot. You pay attention.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm only a Sunday writer. I dabble. I could give you some pointers if you ever want any.
Okay.
I'm going back here and find you a grocery sack. I want you to take some books home. I can't let you check them out. When your grandmother's ready, you just take them out here in the sack. Understand? Read them, bring them back, and be careful. A place I'm not supposed to be. I'm standing beside my father's car, a lonely road in the middle of the night, and it is dark, and it is so dark, the crickets sound like they're screaming. I have a flat tire. Dad has reminded me earlier that evening, don't use that back road if it gets late. I know better than this. A teenage girl all alone on the back road, very late and broken down. My front right tire, the rim is sitting on the ground. It's so quiet. I see it's a man, a black man, easing his car in behind mine. Finally, he turned off his engine and he put his head out the window.
Can I help you?
I'm okay. I have a flat. I watch the man slowly get out of his car. He doesn't want me to be afraid.
You think you can open up your trunk so I can take a look at your spare? We need to get you back on the road. What's all this? Books?
I was at the library.
Lord have mercy. You must be a college student.
Next year.
I have a daughter in college. You read poems?
Yes, sometimes. I stand frozen. He's lifting out my spare with experienced, calm hands, and he heads for the flat tire. I have never spoken more than 2 words to a black man before.
I've got one poem I memorized from somewhere. A few lines of it. Let's see. Sail on, oh my soul. All seas are the seas of God.
Sail on, oh my soul, all seas are the sail.
No, all seas
All seas.
are the seas of God.
It takes him only a few minutes before he's got my spare on and the bad tire in the trunk.
Henry Jones.
Beverly Jones.
Okay. You don't say.
Yeah, gee.
I figured you and me, we're standing in one of those high seas right here on this road tonight, don't you think?
Suddenly there are headlights. and the sound of a car approaching. Mr. Jones, he reaches out and he pulls me down to hide me as the car goes by.
So let's don't stay here too long. You know what I mean? Good night, Miss Jones.
Good night, Mr. Jones. Thank you.
Beverly and Bill, hi. I'm a retired businessman from Minnesota. I come down here to Lake City every winter. And I just want to tell you that I learned so much tonight. It was a real eye-opener, and I want to thank you. We don't have race problems in Minnesota.
Oh, such an eye opener.
I don't know about you, but I'm moving to Minnesota.
Mm.
Oh, 3:00. I hope the brother leaves a tip.
He's bussing tables, Bill.
Shit. You're right. What's wrong with me?
Stick to the profile. You'll be fine.
Right.
No Black customers. Would you even come in a place like this normally?
If I've got enough sense to watch my back, and I'm stupid enough to take some chances.
Is it difficult?
What?
Lone Black person?
We never know how we're going to feel. Sometimes I can reach inside and find a tap, a spigot. I reach in and turn it off. Hey, you don't like me? Well, I don't like you even more. So you were a Jones?
Oh, Beverly Ann Jones. How's that for a Southern girl's name?
And what does Mr. Coyle think of you being on the road?
Oh, well, he's Ross. Coyle was grad school. What can you do? You publish under Coyle, so you keep Coyle. Want to know what's fun sometimes? In my writing, I get compared to Irishmen.
Are there other comments? Yes, young woman, right over there.
I just wanted to share this with Miss Coyle, with everybody. My mother and I were driving across town the other day. Well, okay, we were just at the stoplight, and we saw a group of Black people on the corner. They were across the intersection, over to the left. But my mom and I started rolling up our windows and locking our doors. It was just this instant thing. We didn't talk about it. We just did it.
We've all heard that click inside your cars. We can hear that click 50 feet away.
When Bill and I were putting this presentation together recently, it was Bill's idea to tell our age. I've wondered if age, therefore, makes our childhood's ancient history. You've never known legally segregated schools, much less legal segregation of the entire private and public sector. Buses, bathrooms, municipal parks, waiting rooms and doctors' offices, hotels and motels, whites only, and no coloreds signs. That's history? Are you sure about that? What you've courageously done for us is to remind us, to remind every single person in this room that they live in a huge and sprawling shadow of Jim Crow.
Yes, indeed. We all really know that sound. So, how do you want to do this? You want me to start and you follow?
Yes.
And the first one to run out of names has to buy dinner.
Yes.
Okay. Honky.
Sharky.
Hillbilly.
Jungle bunny.
Cracker.
Buckwheat.
Bubba fucker.
What?
Bubba fucker.
Lawn jockey.
Sometimes I forget that one. Okay. Turkey nut.
Coon.
Devil.
Spade.
Cancer.
Really? Shine.
Fuckwad.
You bangy lips.
You just made that up.
You made up fuckwad. Pickaninny, nappy head, spook.
Okay. Redneck. Peckerwood. Maggot.
God.
Yeah. I know. I know. Come on. Just save to disk.
Do you always talk to your computer like that?
Come on. Ah, damn.
It's because you leave it baking in the car. So if they hadn't given us the day off today, how would you get your column done?
That's it. Thank you. What?
Did you plan this with the council? One day off to get your column done?
Why? You'd rather have done 6 days in a row?
No, I'm glad for the break. I just wondered if you need a day to.
I heard you. I went on a day off before Groveland.
Oh,
Done. Bob's your uncle.
Bob's your uncle. I haven't heard that expression in years.
You know something? I have never met a white woman who doesn't actually have an Uncle Bob.
Uncle Robert. He's a Robert E. Lee, so we don't call him Bob.
Robert E. Lee? And you're leaving that out of the program.
You'd really like him, actually. I wouldn't mind hearing what your column's about.
I wrote on Black parents naming your kids Jamal, Lakeisha, Tyrone, Tamika.
Isn't that something of
The worst set of names you can imagine.
no?
Oh, so you like those names?
Well, I mean, just isn't that something of a fairly strong tradition now?
Yeah, to meet you.
I mean, you can make fun, but I'm serious.
I can, and I do.
There's a whole side to this.
How about hobbling your kids for life? That's my side.
Okay, I see naming as one of the times in the life of a community when a group may just be embracing together their perfect right to
do what?
Look, when it comes to something as individual as naming your own child, I
Some
think
innocent baby, 2 days old, comes home from the hospital with the name of Shashandra.
I would do the same thing. I know I would in a heartbeat.
Rashandra, I'm not making it up. You think that's a real name?
Well, it is now.
Okay. How do you spell it?
I don't know. Who cares? They're saying, white people, it's your turn to learn our names. You know as well as I do that there have been conquering nations out there not letting captured people even speak their own language, much less keep their own names.
Well, captured Rashandra has got to leave the ghetto and get a job. When does employers see a Fontella or a Tafaris, all they have to do is let me talk all these crazy made up names and just stack them up in the reject pile. Dunk. Thanks for making my job simple, y'all.
But we have to fight people like that. Sue them.
You know, black kids don't get a level playing field. You send out 100 identical resumes, 50 with the name Rashandra on them, 50 with the name Susan on them. Susan would get 2 out of 3 more calls than Rashandra every time. You white people can be named some weird Callista Flockhart name nobody's ever heard of and be just fine. You see what I mean? Hell, you can be a Callista, a Madonna, a Sigourney, because you walk through that door white. That's what you don't get. Don't get up in my face for what you think you get.
Bill Maxwell. It's sure a real nice regular name.
Damn right. Thank you.
And so down the road, a Bill Maxwell who loves restoration comedy is never asked to teach it. It's enough to make me go ahead and name my kid Jamal, if you see what I mean.
I'm going over there and check him.
Well, give me a second. I'll go with you.
No, don't rush. It's fine. I'll just go on by myself.
Want to make sure they don't mistake me for your girlfriend again, huh?
No, I just thought you wanted to finish your coffee. So, are you bothered by that? Being thought of as my girlfriend? As a girlfriend of a brother?
Well, I'm only bothered by the same thing you are, that neither of us is seen as a professional person, even with our laptops. Colleagues? Ever. And I like the way you handle it.
How do I handle it?
Hello, I'm Bill Maxwell, the Black journalist traveling with the Florida Humanities Council, and this is not my white girlfriend. We need seriously separate rooms with serious internet access for our jobs.
You've noticed that, huh? Was it ever true for you?
What?
Have you ever been with a brother as a couple? Guess not. Why not?
Why not?
Yeah. The signs came down and you had your chance.
When I was immediately supposed to run out and snag a black boyfriend?
Okay. How about later? You're 50 years old. Not even one?
Maybe black men have never found me attractive.
Suppose I said I found you attractive.
Well, thank you very much.
Cut the crap. I'm asking how you mixed it up.
Well, when I was in college, I mixed it up doing voter registration and marching demonstrations.
So you were in the movement.
I went 2 summers with a group doing outreach in East St. Louis, and
Oh, darkest Africa.
look,
Okay.
I mixed it up in the inner city, that's all. And then I got an undergraduate teacher to put Malcolm X on the syllabus about 100 years before anyone else was putting it on.
Decent white people hanging out with decent black peoples and reading them too. I am asking the simplest question here. Have you ever been attracted to a black man?
Can I just tell you how boring my life has been? All white Florida State University, a long PhD stretch in the
Have
Midwest.
you ever been attracted to a brother?
Look, fire me. You can't tell me that every white woman need have a relationship with a black man.
Oh, I'm not saying that. I can tell you right now that I've been attracted to white women. I don't have to hem and haw about it, and neither do they.
Well, bully for them. Johnny Mathis?
I said a black man.
Do I get any slack for having grown up Jim Crow?
Sure. Hang yourself with it.
No, I mean, where was the point at which separation was supposed to disappear? Physically, just melt away. Me in some bar with the moves to walk up to some black dude or vice versa.
I think you're reaching.
By the time this Protestant chick got some birth control pills, you guys were Black Panthers. The last thing that you were attracted to was white, not without a whole lot of big time conflict about it. You slept with us. Did you necessarily do much more? I mean, Black women have a lot to say about this stuff too. And if you don't want to go there, then
You're
we don't.
going to bring in Black women now, or just turn it back on me. I'll tell you about me sometime. Right now, I'm asking about you. Why is this so hard?
For me to have found myself attracted to a Black man and acting on it, it would have been, okay, it would have been like going to Mars, stepping into another world. You don't come back.
But you wanted to go to Africa.
Yeah. And I always imagined myself alone in my little singles hut with a ton of books on either side of my little bed. Ooh, did I say bed? And I'd go to the door of my hut at night and watch you in your village. And during the day, I would head into the village through the fronds. You all would be ready for me, sitting on your little camp stools, and I'd teach you the alphabet. So no, I did not find Black attractive.
Sounds like you did.
Don't try to make me feel better.
White people were ugly as sin to us too, you know. And white girls are skinny, pasty face, gawky looking, flat ass, nose in the air, nasty bitches. And we knew you smelled
Like what?
like a wet dog.
And so you and white women?
I found a few who didn't smell. I always give a white woman a lot of credit for being with me. She's earned it. She just hasn't earned as much as she thinks she's earned. Finally, really, it comes down to, what is wrong with you, man? After all the bad shit white people have done, what the hell are you doing? You know? She's gonna roll over in your bed one morning and call you a nigger.
Bill.
Hey, she's got to go. Get her out of here. I'm the one deciding who's packing and clearing out. Just for a moment, I'm in control of something. Okay. You see a Black man and a white woman. Where are you with that?
Maybe they're colleagues.
Come on. What's your innermost likely gut reaction? Black dude. White woman.
1, the white woman is cheating a Black woman out of a good man. 2, the white woman is experimenting, showing off, whatever.
Keep going.
3, the Black man is out of his league.
What if Black man's a handsome brother with a white woman?
He's good in bed.
What if he's an ugly brother?
He's good in bed. Okay, your turn. You see a white man with a Black woman. Where are you with that? Ordinary white guy, gorgeous Black woman.
Sister, I'm not good enough for you. Look at you. You're darker than me, and I'm not good enough.
Black women are totally screwed in this country.
Yay. The darker she is, she can be with a white or black dude. She's got to be pulling 6 figures. You know what I mean? Yeah. If she's what you call a skillet blonde, blue black, jet black, as dark as she can get, sister.
She speaks Chinese in 3 dialects.
And go shot during Black History Month.
Gosha?
Gosha.
Osha. To Black History Month.
I'm not drinking a Black History Month. The council wonders why I'm slow giving them answer about your gigs. Well, because they always try to book me for goddamn obligatory. You can't say no Black History Month,
The shortest month of the year.
which is 28 days too long for a small percentage of the U.S. population to honor one ex-slave who squeezed oil out of a peanut. In leap year, we have to keep it up 29 days,
You could do a month on Louis Armstrong, as far as I'm concerned.
but we don't. That's the problem. We have to do history. What history?
You're not serious.
Besides slavery, Jim Crow, and black men still getting dragged to death behind pickup trucks, what history do we have that takes a whole month to celebrate? Girl, my people, it's not like we have Einstein, Shakespeare, or Madame Curie to brag about.
Well, that would be Germany, Great Britain, and France.
Yeah, but we don't even got us a Helen Keller. You know what I'm saying?
Ray Charles.
Ray Charles.
I have to ask you something.
Okay.
I don't know what that other thing's about.
You don't know what other things about?
The whole "you're darker than I am" thing.
Hey, wider and wider with each generation.
So in the 60s, when Black was beautiful, that was quite a step, right?
A step.
Away from the inherent racism of lighter is better.
Oh, you think black people can't be racist? You think
You
black
don't-
people can be racist?
Well, you don't call lighter is better racist toward each other.
Black folks can't be racist.
Well, weren't we both just now touching on racism, confessing our gut reactions? What my sentiment is racist and yours isn't?
Not even close.
What?
Me mimicking a racist group is not racist.
Well, does that mean that you only mimic sexism too?
I do it all.
Well, you're really cutting yourself a lot of slack if you're going to call your own behavior just mimicking.
Next thing you're going to ask me is why we say nigger.
And why do you?
Oh, God. If I have to explain the problematic N word to one more honking, I'm going to have to hurt somebody.
No, how do you explain it to yourselves?
You know what? We don't care if you get it or not.
In New York City, the darker skinned kids sit at the back of the classroom and the lighter skinned kids sit in the front.
And you know what you need to be feeling about that? Ashamed.
Why just me?
You're telling me you don't know shit about internalization? You're a female. You don't have a whole lot more power than I have. I gotta get out of here. You coming?
They're about to bring us food.
You didn't see what was happening there.
No, I was afraid I said something that
You
really
didn't
upset you or.
see that table of white boys
Oh, yeah, I saw them.
laughing in my face, practically.
Are you sure? I didn't pick up on them laughing at
They
you.
kept laughing at us. They kept giggling to themselves and whispering and gawking.
They were 15 and 16 years old. I mean, you don't think you're being a little paranoid?
What do you mean paranoid? Hell, if you were black, you'd be paranoid too.
Okay, I'd be paranoid, but where does it end?
Well, you tell me. You white people tell me where it ends.
You mean every time we see you, nobody better giggle for fear that you're going to see us as dissing you?
I can't usually go into a place without white people gawking.
Well, that's just not true. That is the only time I've seen anyone the least bit mistaken for gawking or anything else this whole tour.
See, that's my point. That's my point. You don't notice. I do. You are not in my skin. When I go into a place, I have to look around and survey the room to see What the hell is going on? I have to do that every time. You've got such perfect tunnel vision. You don't have to worry about it. You're right. You keep forgetting you're right.
No, and you keep reminding me anyway that I'm white.
Well, you need to be reminded. All of you need to be reminded. You can walk around this country in a coma and you'll be safe. I have to be awake every minute.
Okay, but Bill,
Completely wide awake. Otherwise, I will be annihilated.
annihilated. Has it ever occurred to you that living like this has made you superior? That you think that you're superior to everybody around you, frankly, that everybody's out to get you.
Superior? Who else can put up with what we have to put up with and survive? The miracle is that most niggas aren't out in the street shooting you all on sight. You're lucky we're so intact.
Intact? Please, you fell apart just now. I have to assume this happens a lot.
No. That happens a lot.
So you have to leave a restaurant all the time just because kids are giggling at you.
Look, I don't need to be around that bullshit, okay?
Well, but I mean, that's just them controlling you, right?
I am not being controlled. I can choose to leave places.
Okay. Where are we going to eat? It's 10 o'clock at night. There's no place around that's open.
I pick and choose. Black people spend too much time going into places where they are not wanted. Well, I am not going to spend my money in a place that does not want me.
Okay, first of all, it was the kids in the place, not the place. And even if it is, if you keep leaving every time, then they've won.
No, they haven't won. They don't have my money.
Okay. Well, where are we going to eat?
I don't care where you eat. I don't care what you do. Matter of fact, you're pissing me off with this.
So where are you going?
Listen, I didn't just drop down to earth because you're here with me. I've been here my whole life. You understand? So don't worry about where I eat.
Okay, you know what? I'm not going to worry about where you eat. This is crazy. You're like a 6-year-old boy right now.
Wait.
Well, you're acting like a spoiled little 6-year-old boy.
Hold it. Did you just call me a boy?
Oh, come on.
No, you come on.
Give me a break.
Oh, so all this time you've been wanting to call me a boy. Is that right?
No, you're acting like a real little boy.
Why don't you go all the way and call me what you really want to then?
Bill, I would never. How could you possibly think that I would ever?
Hey, look, I'm going on back to the motel.
You've just accused me of wanting to call you one of the most
You know
vile
what?
things in all.
Screw you. I've had enough of this. I've had enough of your white ass for one night.
And I've had enough of your black ass.
Well, you can kiss my black ass.
I have been. God damn it. I lean toward you and get shoved right in the face. All of us do. You people are incredible.
You people?
Yes, you people. You say it to me. You honkies need to be reminded.
Wait.
And God forbid my feelings get hurt. I'm just decent white peoples hanging out with decent black peoples. Nothing I do counts for shit. It's all going to get spun. And on top of that, I'm just a racist.
You're a 2-bit racist. How do you like that?
It's boring. How do you like that? Our fault, our fault, our fault. And you are all absolved of any responsibility.
For your shit?
No, yours. The intimidation, the walking around with a chip on your shoulder bigger than God. What the hell is that walk?
Oh, you really hate that walk, huh?
And completely taking up the sidewalk and aisle and subway seat with your feet sprawled and with this whole touch my new sneakers and you're gonna be dead, motherfucker. And do I get civility when you're walking in any place except in a bank? Which I have to say is the only place, and I've racked my brain to remember where else, I'm consistently treated like I might be something other than your battle days with the man.
This is the real you niggers, Miss Beverly Ann right there. You want the automatic smiling Uncle Tom?
Oh, but that's my only choice. You offer either Uncle Tom or your insults, nice or nasty, nothing else. Just so you don't have to be real and have to see me as real.
You want real? How about jugging us here in the hold of a ship, making us 3/5 of a person, fixing the rules to keep it that way? This whole thing is your invention.
But you're in that invention. When are you going to deal with it? Either you participate with all of us in uninventing it or you don't. It's not fair, but it is completely real. Otherwise, you just hug your right to some black attitude. And what kind of right is that?
Well, you can't kill me for it now.
It's a pose. It's like being drag. Yeah, that's right. We would not be on this road together if I hadn't hung in with that shit when I first called you. You had to make me sweat. And I feel that all the time, like you're lying in wait. And I want to know why me, your colleague, basically.
And you haven't been posting.
What?
Right along with me? We're all swans with each other. Oh, so polite and differential.
Yes, we're getting to know each other. Yes, because it's courtesy and it's being attentive. That's intelligence, even.
So how do you trust? How do you trust my other mask? Me being all nice to you.
I never once thought you had that mask on.
Really?
That would be hideous of me if I didn't trust your goodwill toward me or this
I'm
experience.
sure as hell don't know what you're even when you're even wearing yours and when you're not.
You don't? You really don't?
Look, don't take back what you just said 1 second ago. Nice or nasty, nothing in between. For us or for you. You're furious at black people.
For the attitude.
It's the right to have attitude. You think we colored folks just want to have the right to be with you, be all integrated? You romantics, all you liberals, brotherly love. No. Integration is about rights. I'm the first generation to get some and the first who can afford to claim some. Not my grandparents, no. My grandfather's life was in danger if he so much as looked at a white person in the eye. He had to shuffle and try to be invincible, in order to keep a job. Even I could get myself wiped off the map with a cool little grin and high octane energy. You say I'm in this invention? You ask me when I'm gonna deal with it. Quite a few of us can get a leg up these days, get educated, get ahead, get asked to go on a speaking tour with a white woman. But can you just visualize something here? Us, me, standing between a smart, well-meaning white person like you and all the other white people that only we have to deal with. They're called profilers. They have legal right to stop us in our cars, just pull us over for not having a turn signal on. And some are called Klansmen. And guess what? They're also congressmen and women who gerrymander us and steal our vote. I had an uncle in the orange business. Talented grower, too. He could not legally sell oranges from his groves because he was not permitted to even apply for a citrus license. That's left over from Reconstruction, my friend. Laws against granting licenses. Can you imagine the day he finally got a license? He was about the most happiest man in the world. He could sell his fruit legally. Imagine that. Multiply by thousands and thousands and on into the future. Good white people like you want to be with us? Sure they do. And they get their feelings hurt when it looks like we're rude or whatever you imagine. And maybe you're not imagining it. And we can work on that. But integration is about integrity, the integrity of the rules, like that building over there. That building would fall down if it hadn't been built by the same architectural guiding principles of all buildings. That's what integration means. Integrity. It doesn't mean being all nice to you. The integrity of the rules have to apply to everyone equally. My grandparents did everything they could to keep me in a cocoon, near home and safe. Black people have to smother your boys to keep them alive. We're not safe if we try to become real men, so they spoil us into complete sorriness sometimes. Barely fit for anything but hanging out on the corner, holding our thing, and getting ourselves killed by another brother or the cops who's not anyone in your circle. You have no idea what's out there for us. Raise our daughters and love our sons to death. It's not a kick in the butt. So we become juniors. Most black men are juniors. I'm a junior. We do have attitude sometimes. That's all we have. And we do feel superior to just about everybody, especially our own women, who we know, shall we say, are ambivalent about how we turn out and never mind for what survival reasons I have battled my whole life to try to overcome so I can be a grown up. I'll go to my grave probably, never quite knowing what this thing did to me.
Bill, I know it sounds lame when we try to apologize.
Wait a moment. When have you ever been close enough to a brother to apologize to his face?
It means spending time, together, like we have. You don't go tapping folks on the shoulder, right? This whole tour is, I got home from study hall that day, the day that all the other kids in the junior high got to go to the minstrel show. All that fury on my father's part about this town putting on that show.
You have a right to be proud of that.
No, I don't think so. It was his 13-year-old kid telling him something that infuriated him as the new minister who didn't yet know the scoop. So why was he angry? Because he knew he was not going to do anything about that show except yell at his child. For as long as I can remember, there was the shame of slavery. I was taught stuff. I read just like you. And I knew that Florida had more lynchings than a whole lot of other southern states. And we had the only governor who shot himself when the South lost. They sure didn't teach that in school. Big Confederate flags all through the South. Some kids assumed we'd actually won the Civil War. Bill, each of us has colleagues who are Black and white. We both mix it up. But this whole thing, this whole bloody history and the gut that makes us white people so scared, click, it's made us crazy, right? White people in my circles don't have to think about how it's made us crazy because day to day it's also normal looking, peaceful. But we're not in your skin at all. And growing up, there weren't any stakes for me in what happened, how you lived, and what you experienced. It never made a ripple in my life. And it still hasn't. So you're right. I don't even know what it means to be white. I have been content to not think about what you have had to think about every second of your life, every second.
The longest running absurdist drama in the world. But I do trust you. I trust you're not going to drive the rental car into a brick wall with me beside you. Not deliberately, anyways.
Anything else?
No, not really. I had a fan come up to me yesterday after the program. Never misses my column. Black dude introduced me to his brother-in-law. I turn and I'm staring at this white dude, right? Anyway, they gave me a book with all the old Jim Crow stuff in it. It's sort of like a coffee table book. Photographs of all the signs, white, colored, white only, no niggers, hundreds of them. Places you never think.
I liked it when Woolworths put up the more polite sign.
What was that?
You know, we reserve the right to refuse service to anyone. So much more polite sounding. We reserve the right to refuse service to anyone. And then they all came down.
They all came down.
I think it made a difference to have been a child when it happened.
How come? Children are the most rigid, black and white of all.
Right. So those signs hadn't merely come down to us. Those signs had gone from being right to being wrong. It was my first act of seeing the big lie by my country, my government.
Your first literature exposed, deconstructed.
At least I was there when it happened.
I could have seen you.
You did see me.
Don't try this at home. You could hurt yourself. Well, what are we going to eat? 10 o'clock. We blew it. Well, for an emergency, I always carry peanuts. What about you?
A book and a sweater. Groveland tomorrow.
Some shit scary seas out there, Beverly.
It's why they gave us the day off.
There's no one here. Let's just leave.
Brilliant.
Back on the road.
Back on the road.